sort of tent near the mid lane for Froggen. Grigne, we'll see what he brings to the table, but we are back into the draft for game number 2. Echo Fox fanning away Ashe and Trundle once again, and Nivea Vlad gonna follow for CLG.
All right, same bands, yeah. So far,
there's a difference.
Yeah. HuHi's Azir, definitely deserving of respect now. He was very clean in that game, and Froggen has found out that Brand does not counter Azir, indeed.
Not what he wanted, perhaps, out of the pick.
I mean, anytime you go in for harass, you're in range of the soldiers, so it's pretty hard, especially with, you know, junglers being a very big part of it. Regardless, we will see a different mid lane matchup this time around. See what Echo Fox go for. All junglers are available for Grigne. See what his specialty will be, subbing in and, you know, changing up a player. That can be good. Grigne, he does play a lot of Rek'Sai. You know, he's even a Elise player. He's one of those guys that can go, you know, with some playmaking, early game, surprise picks. Let's see here. Nidalee and Kindred both still available. We'll see what CLG decides to answer with. I think that they will probably look for another counter pick here for top lane. You know, Jax isn't actually a counter pick to Irelia, but
certainly got himself into a good spot. But careful, stick to what he knows. And Irelia once again.
All right, maybe we will just get to see them dueling it out again on Trinity Force skill shot or skill matchup champions.
I wonder if Darshan's like, okay, I guess I take Jax again. Maybe the lanes are different if it's an actual 1v1 and we get standard lanes. Darshan did a great job controlling the lane and the map from his position after the early CLG lane swap.
Yeah, and again, it was through the lane swap and through these mid-game objective trading. You know, that is the hallmark of CLG over the past few seasons, where they earned a lot of their advantages up into the mid-game where they could pressure it. Echo Fox definitely need to change that up. Well, coaching staff, you know, leadership in game as well. All areas they can look to do that. Froggen said they just need more practice. They need to play together more to figure out, you know, what to do. But definitely sending the team into the game with an early game plan is going to be crucial. There it is.
Yep. I was kind of expecting this. I was like, well, we kind of know what's going on one side. Same picks are open. Darshan, I imagine he doesn't mind the matchup if nothing else, and Xmithie had a great Kindred game.
Yeah, I mean, they're not worried about the early game of Echo Fox. As we said, you know, the second lowest early game gold difference rating for Echo Fox, not really putting out a lot of pressure at the moment. So CLG happy to again go. Same champions so far. Still waiting for the Grigne curveball.
Or Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
You never know.
or just Rek'Sai again.
20 seconds for Echo Fox. Lock in the picks 2 and 3.
Whenever you do see the early Kindred, you know, you get some thoughts. You start thinking of, oh, Elise maybe, you know, get the combos on him. Even the Lee Sin that I mentioned before, if he gets, you know, an early lead, he can 100% Kindred, you know, close on him pretty easily. But all right, maybe we'll get a little flavor from the other stream. Karma could go mid lane.
It could.
It is a flex pick, but might well just be a poke bottom lane here. Jhin Karma for Keith and Big.
Yep, Big gonna take more of an enabler, I guess, on the Bard. Wasn't too impactful, at least from the little we saw, at least in that one game on the Bard. So we'll take maybe the more standard, very popular support. Good at enabling KFO and maybe Froggen as well.
I do like, yeah, I do like Karma in, you know, 4-1 comps, because you can enable your 4 squad to disengage if your Irelia doesn't, you know, have the pressure or have the, you know, early TP timing advantage over the other top laner. You know, plus if you do have the advantage, she also doubles as a poke champion. So decent in the siege as well. For answering that, CLG may look for some hard engage here.
There's one maybe, not Warwick. Braum perhaps the pick there.
Hey, Warwick, he's hard engaged.
Okay, whoa!
Straight suppression.
Misclicked on the vein, goes back to Tristana. Tristana Braum the bottom lane there for CLG.
All right, now that's a lane I like to see go for more kills. You know, Aphro slightly changing up here. He's still going to be frontline. Changing off the Alistar onto the Braum though, you can block a bit more. Braum actually I do like a lot against Jhin. Since Jhin only with those 4 bullets, you block a couple of them. That's a pretty big percentage. But I also really just enjoy Braum Tristana kill lanes. Rocket jump forward. Aggressive rocket jumps are always encouraged.
Well, it's good to see Aphromoo sort of moving back to some playmakers as well. Obviously known for Karma, Janna, who's not that popular right now, Soraka, these sort of champions, but I think he's maybe at home right now on the team, where he's able to make big plays with the likes of Alistar and now Braum. So CLG is pretty much continuing with a very similar looking draft to game number 1. We'll see how Echo Fox finish this one.
That hover, I think they'll probably lock in the Elise. As I talked about earlier, it's a good one into Kindred.
All right, Froggen, what it'll
combos. And it is also going to be some disengage. Okay, so those are still swappable.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, could be mid lane, could be support. Either one of those. Karma, Zyra. Regardless, though, that is great disengage, or at least counter engage if we do get those aggressive rocket jumps.
You mentioned it already. That
CLG
4-1 style.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good 4 on the Echo Fox side. See how the 1 holds up this time. KFO was not able to get a foothold in top lane. See if that changes.
It is going to be very poke heavy here for Echo Fox. They don't have a tank on their team, so they're going to rely a lot on coordinating their ranged abilities, you know, for the snares. They have a lot of snares, but they're going to need to hit them. If CLG get around these skill shots from Echo Fox, then they will collapse, you know, like paper.
Yep.
Nobody on that team is very healthy, so they're going to have to use that Karma speed and try and land all their skill shots here for Echo Fox. This is a dangerous comp to run. It can be very rewarding if you play it offensively and you do get that lead. But Echo Fox has struggled to get an advantage in the game and try and set up their 4-1. See if CLG can pressure them. They do have the Zilean for a revive.
I love the last pick.
Yeah, it does make sense there for the early engage. You know, you send in your first wave of engagements and just revive them after they get countered by the 4 range champions.
Yeah. Zilean becoming actually a surprisingly popular pick, certainly in the NALCS. Coach is going to shake hands. Great drafts once again from both these two. Curious to see how it works out, but we want your opinion as well, of course. Get your Twitter fingers ready. Send out the hashtag FOXWin or CLGWin as we get ourselves into game number 2. A few changes here already for Echo Fox. Comp's different. Froggen's playing Karma. We got a new jungler.
Yes.
It's all sorts of crazy.
Yep. There's a high potential to take over a game when you run a comp with this much damage like Echo Fox and this much crowd control. So a lot of offensive abilities here for them, but low on defense. So it's going to be a very skill-based composition for them. See if they can execute.
Yeah, and on the other side for CLG, very similar look to the comp they had in the first game. Just Azir being banned away means that HuHi actually falls back to Zilean, which is a pretty different champion. But he had a good Azir game. He'll have a very high impact on the Zilean. We'll see if he can play it to a similar effect. But he's certainly making sure that Darshan, especially if he gets ahead, and Stixxay can now play just without fear in a lot of team fights.
Yeah, because, you know, eventually, both these teams are looking at the 1-4 setups, but eventually those do collapse into team fights very often with one of them teleporting in early. That's when you really will see the benefits from the Zilean. Also, it's always nice to have these big zone control abilities when you're playing against a comp like Echo Fox are running that we say relies on precision and relies on them to coordinate a lot of their target swaps and CC abilities. CLG now, they have the bombs from Zilean. They also have the Braum for a big area of zone control, so they can try and make it so Echo Fox aren't able to coordinate their skill shots.
Yep, and I don't think CLG are going to be deviating too much from the plan. We saw effective lane swap in game number 1. They're back on the Trist. They'll probably look to that again if they get it. Echo Fox, should they force standard lanes here?
Yeah, I mean, Tristana, she excels. I don't think there's any way that Jhin can catch up with that, no matter what support you have, because Jin's one of the slow ones with the 4 bullets, and Tristana just annihilates turrets. So CLG, once again, they are going to try and, you know, pressure with the mid-game objective trading, eke out that early to mid-game gold lead in that area, then look to pressure in for the team fights.
Well, we're out onto Summoner's Rift for the second time between these two teams. CLG up a game. Now out on the red side, Echo Fox so looking to equalize here and force a game number 3. We'll see if a change of junglers and a slight change in strategy can maybe get that done here. But it does start here at level 1. CLG navigated the first 10 minutes of game 1 wonderfully. See if Echo Fox can change things up here, because it's the early game that we keep questioning. Where is it? Seem to have lost it in the spring.
Well, they are going to spread out, and it looks like they're trying to play defensively, and they do want standard lanes. However, CLG, once again, they group up, standard invade from them, press in S5. They're going to try and get those deep wards down to check out for the lane swap.
Yep. Volatile Spiderling did spot a few. And that's Grigne just going to be scouting out the area. I don't want to face check too far though. And here's some wards from CLG. I do like that the teams are now proactively warding again. We had a lot of blind lane swaps in the first 2 weeks. CLG kind of actively seeking information here as Keith and Big will trade wards here on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and Echo Fox, once again, they're forced into trying to answer with lane swap wards of their own. However, it's going to be difficult working someone up to that top side of the map. KFO on the ward, seen out. And now we have the game of chicken where they wait to see CLG reveal themselves. However, it's not going to happen. Since CLG have this information, they get their lane swap very easily. They call for the duo up top, and this is set up nicely for them. Meanwhile, bottom lane there for Fox is split, and Big is going for the early mid lane play. You have to be careful about overextending in that play.
There's the counterplay. Big actually flashes into the tower, gets exhausted now. Darshan gonna leap on top. Exhausted is down, but Big getting a little low. Grasping Roots lands onto 3, but he's still tagged in by the
Pull
Braum
down on
passive.
Leap Strike.
Looking for it again. There's the Q. Leap Strike in.
Need
Darshan
it.
wants it. He's gonna get it. First blood.
Yeah, so Fox, you can tell what they were thinking this time around. CLG last time, they went that 3-man play around mid. Froggen makes the call. You know what? That's our time. We're going to do it this time. However, Big really overextends. You have to be so careful in lane swaps when you go for that, especially as a support Zyra. You are one of the squishiest champions in the game, and he overextends onto the CLG half of the map. Lane swaps, not only junglers have to respect the lane swap dividing line where you divide top and bottom jungles, but supports as well. Got to be very careful about doing that, and a big mistake there gives CLG first blood. This is not the way Echo Fox wanted to start game number 2 and try to get back into the series.
Probably in the worst possible spot as well. Darshan going to start with a lead in what will eventually be another 1v1 matchup. For now, though, we are just going to trade some structures. HuHi hits level 3.
Yeah.
Showing a lot of respect here to Froggen. Gets snared up, though. Froggen in there, but the bomb's not quite enough for the stun. The Q's going to mantra back up.
Yeah. Great trade there for Froggen, who he doesn't get the other bomb quite on top. No stun, but Xmithie comes to equalize.
Yep, does have Flash and Cleanse. Froggen cleanses out, flashes out after as well, but Xmithie chasing in.
Ooh, thought about going to flash in there, but one more auto. Probably wouldn't have got it since Froggen did have health potion ticking. I don't know, would have been very close with the red buff burn, but Xmithie doesn't make the risky play, doesn't flash in for it, so there's no counter gank from Grigne, and he's going to have to just go back to farming.
Very explosive exit there from Xmithie. Just rocket jumps over the wall as Darshan will be left to his own devices with the turret. And most importantly, all its delicious local gold. KFO, though, similar spot.
Yum, yum.
Looks like both laners able to bounce highly effectively.
Yep, both of them going to set up the freezes, so the lane swap will be pretty close. The big 400 gold lead for CLG is sitting all on Darshan pretty much with that first blood money that he's still holding over KFO right now.
Hasn't spent it yet, but again, they'll eventually meet. Right now, though, it does look like Stixxay is swapping himself down to this bottom half of the map. So, plan to push a few more turrets down. Looks like Fox are answering in kind. They'll do the same.
Yep, smart from KFO. You know, as soon as you see the duo lane, try and get as many minions as you can before they chase you off.
Whoa, that Q barely misses from Aphromoo.
Necessary dodge there. We talk about the kill lane and the pressure that Braum can have with aggressive rocket jumps onto Winter's Bite, but very good dodge and stun from KFO. He's able to walk away without having to burn summoners, and he was able to snag a couple extra minions on the way out. Everyone does help trying to even out that first blood money that Darshan does have over him.
And a Sheen first here for Darshan as he goes back and joins his duo lane. Fox and Keith already busy in that top lane. Looks like Irelia is going to join them as well as Grigne goes for a wander in towards CLG's Raptor camp, but does not spot either Xmithie or the camp itself. Already taken away by Kindred, who's looking good once again in the early stages of the game. Could be looking for a revisit here onto Froggen, but
he's looking at that mark. You got eyes. Anytime you are Kindred, boom, big target right on the Raptors. Juicy. It's on about half of the lane swap. And that's going to be number 2 for Xmithie. So even quicker start to the mark stacking this game around. Now, after you secured that, okay, now I can turn your eyes toward Froggen, maybe. Maybe you get your repeat gank pastry.
Maybe he just goes to farming, which is also fine. Froggen going to play nice and safe, so not this time.
They might actually go for the early Mountain Dragon, or Mountain Drake. Yeah, they are going to stack that one up. Grigne is going to be the one trying to answer mid lane, though. He wants to make a name for himself. New guy on the map here. Jungler got subbed in, and the game started out pretty rough, trying to make up ground here. It's really rough as Elise, especially if the early game goes that poorly for your team without really getting a chance to have a meaningful impact, because she is going to slowly fall behind in farm. Having spent time on Dragon, though, for CLG means that should actually be able to keep up in farm this time around. But at least with no early kills, no early ganks is going to be rough.
Yeah, and HuHi's level 6 now, so this gank even more difficult for Elise. Froggen getting the poke in, but Grigne is going to have to leave that particular area. CLG moving the duo lane back to the top lane. Bombs are up, though. Peace.
Yeah, even up those CS numbers. Oh, Stixxay misses a couple under turret, though. Oh! Ah! Okay, got it.
He's got it. It's okay. Aphromoo is going to cover him as well with the targets. Order is restored.
Those Tristana last hits with explosive shot.
Tricksy, to say the least.
Say Stixxay. All right, deep ward's actually going in from Fox. You know, even though Grigne didn't get off his early gank, he was able to get those tracker knife wards down on the top side. Maybe that will allow them to set up a play. As of right now, Fox are doing a decent job, climbing back in that gold deficit, trying to make up for that first blood money.
Just a ward down. KFO also going to do the same. Needs to make sure he has eyes on CLG, because two members top with Xmithie cheating towards that side means KFO correctly assumes he was maybe in danger. Looks like team's actually just going to keep pushing down and actually keep these 2v1s alive for a little longer than game one.
Yeah, pretty much mirrored here. Both top laners waiting to receive their big wave at their turret. Just eyeballing that giant line of minions. Echo Fox sending over the Elise. One good thing about Elise, especially the ranged jungler with a lot of threat here when you come up for a siege, means that they can zone Darshan completely off the turret, completely off the minion wave, but he goes in with Xmithie.
Xmithie's here as well, TP in. They're going to keep going down. The Class is going to keep Darshan alive. And now Grigne has to get out. The ulti from Zilean there as well, but HuHi flashes forward, gets the double bomb.
The counter here. Xmithie shows up, and Darshan goes offensive with the double stun. They've got not only the Kindred ultimate, but HuHi threw the Zilean ult on there for good measure. Just in case, I guess, and he lands the long-range double bomb for the second blood, excuse me. So CLG, they counter that push. They also get this bottom turret. Echo Fox, again, very terrible early game. Gonna have to play from behind. Gonna struggle to create proactive plays. This is already looking like it might be the same story for them. But yeah, Darshan got his Counter-Strike on early, so he's able to block a lot there. Xmithie well-timed ult, and HuHi threw it on just in case there's any kind of stray burn damage or something, I guess, gonna come through and kill him. Didn't want to take any chances. They get the kill, and that cooldown comes up very quickly for Zilean, so not a big deal there. CLG sitting pretty with that early game gold lead.
Yeah, they got the tier 2 in top lane as well, so third tower going for CLG means that once again, they're in the driver's seat here. Froggen going to go ahead and get blue buff for himself, which is always nice, but a clutch teleport there from HuHi, saving that play on the top lane and giving CLG another great start to this game. And Echo Fox, once again, will be caught chasing CLG, which is not the spot they want to be in. Darshan actually challenging Keith right now. They're equal in level. Yeah. I would not feel particularly comfortable without my Zyra. Big going to return to this lane, but Darshan taking farm out from under the duo lane of Echo Fox is not a good sign.
Yeah, and he's sitting on 1,000 gold right now in pocket for Darshan as well. If he had a Cutlass, maybe we would see him try stuff as soon as his dual lane gets here, but I think we'll just see him backing after this wave and going to recall and purchase instead. Yep. Safe play from CLG is all they need now, since they do have a pretty good handle on this early game. And Xmithie's stacking up very nicely on the Kindred as well.
Reflected in all the early itemization. Stixxay, Berserker is BF sword, so good for a few sieges. Rodavator's already done for HuHi after picking up that assist and kill the TP in that top side. And Darshan, the aggressive component of the Trinity Force plus the Phage to spare. That 1v1's going to be real nice, especially with Xmithie tracking in that top lane.
And speaking of Xmithie, he is a full level above Grigne. Both of them are almost to their next level, so this is a full level from 6 to 7 here for Xmithie over Grigne, who's been waiting around a lot, trying to position himself for counter ganks, which have not worked out. Plus they made that failed dive up top, which cost them a lot of time. And Xmithie is cruising to another very easy game here on Kindred. He had a good ultimate already for Darshan, and stepping up to be a big damage threat in this game as well.
Just wanders by into his own jungle. Happiest jungler in the world, because as he cruised past mid, HuHi just gives him a bit of extra XP for level 8. Grigne trying to clear out this ward. Stixxay gonna trade. Oh! We got it. Stixxay gonna take the most precious of CS, the enemy green ward. Xmithie actually on top of a ward as well in that brush, trying to get a little tricksy. 4 members of Echo Fox here right now.
They did kill the pink ward, but Xmithie got the Gromp, and so that boosts him up to that 2-level breakpoint. If, you know, Grigne does get 1 camp, he'll get up to 7, but as of right now, very big discrepancy there.
Hello. Keith just eating damage. That's a lot of damage early on. Jhin is not particularly durable.
Yeah.
CLG countering everything Echo Fox are trying to do here. That was 5 men mid lane.
I'll be careful too. You can tell Echo Fox are just like, you know what, we got to do something. But it's very dangerous right now with the item difference that they were facing. There's a lot of completed first items here over on CLG. Even though Rod of Ages is a stacking item, even though Blood Razor is percentage health and gets better as the game goes on, still pretty scary for Echo Fox to try and force something. They went into that blue quadrant. They didn't quite find their fight. Left some wards behind. And Xmithie's here for the 2v2, but
assist.
Just kidding. He's here for the alley-oop escape.
Darshan calls back his jungler. Xmithie actually looking for his mark, but his Rift Herald, I don't think he's going to mess it up this time.
Well, was it a mistake?
I don't know.
Or was it intended? Yeah. We'll see. Xmithie is going to accidentally walk over it this time, or are they actually going to give it to Darshan?
He's going to flash out back of the pit.
Give him an edge. Yeah, okay. So it was an accident last time.
You can juke towards it. He's like, you got it.
You can only pull that off one time as a jungler, where you slowly saunter over the buff as you walk away from it and quote-unquote accidentally take it. You do it multiple times, and their top lane is going to catch on. Darshan does get it this time, so we'll see if he's able to use that against the Irelia. He's also first to Trinity Force completion, which is the real big differentiator in this matchup. So maybe he will try and pressure. As of right now, KFO going to try and hold this freeze, though, for as long as he can, as Echo Fox are going to struggle to get back in this game. You know, he's got teleport, so he can try and answer if there is a play from CLG across the map. It's just Cloud Drake, so some people might decide to just give that up in favor of Irelia free farm. But Darshan going in deep to enemy territory here. It's a lot of Fox wards as well as the Wisp walking around.
Yeah, you got spotted, so Darshan going to walk the longer way around, but clearing out vision. See CLG grouping towards that Cloud Drake, although fresh off some back, so spend some of that gold they've earned, holding that 2,000 gold lead still. Although again, wanting to play carefully in these long lanes. Don't have quite the same lead that they had before. They kind of got it off a nice Baron play earlier on, as Aphro dings 6 there from HuHi's extra passive.
Yeah, much needed 6
Feels good.
Supports in lane swaps.
Ooh.
Oh man, yeah, they're already on turret here. That's red buff on Kindred too. Had the heavy hands from Krug Smite, and they're just destroying this turret. There's no answer from Echo Fox.
They're slapping it.
You gotta do something, boys.
Oy, that's rough.
Oh no.
Fox again pulled around the map, and CLG just walk up slowly to the turret and take it. It's a huge open space, and now the blue buff's gonna go down as well. Oh, it's just all going downhill.
Oh man, they're falling off a cliff here.
Yeah.
Very steep downhill. CLG just waltz right into the base. Casual 14.5-minute inhibitor turret there.
Can't be caught sleeping in the macro game. CLG really tightened everything up, it feels like. Froggen anchored in the mid lane, busy dealing with bombs there from HuHi. Darshan Xmithie going back in. Careful, you are absolutely not safe. But they're just going to walk into the inhibitor now.
Yeah, there's no turret here, guys. We still have 3 people here, and Fox are in the mid lane with 4, sending only Elise back to recall right now.
They're going to get it, I think.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
They get the mid lane wave, but that's it. Can CLG get out here, though? Because they're going to die. Someone's going to die for this.
Yeah, Darshan might, but he's trying to get out. Leap strikes way up to the stun, but big flashes in.
Yeah.
Good grasping roots as KFO gets the reset in and moves towards Xmithie. Is Xmithie going to pop the ulti and buy some time?
Yeah.
Does save Aphro, but he's dead.
They sacrificed 2 for the inhibitor at 15.5 minutes down for CLG. Now, if you are Echo Fox and you're going, oh my god, we got crushed early, we have to farm for late, we're struggling. Maybe, maybe they can try and hold on to this wave, because there is going to be a steady stream of income from that top side, because it's going to be pushing with super minions. The problem is then holding on to anything else on the map, though. If you have to have somebody hold the super minion line on that top line, it pretty much forfeits the other side of the map. KFO does have teleport, and they're trying to sneak away this Cloud Drake before CLG close in, though. And they're going to get it. Oh, the recall from CLG. This is actually pretty good for Echo Fox. They're going to take one bottom side objective, which CLG would try and use in conjunction with the downed inhibitor. So maybe they can buy themselves some time here for Echo Fox and hold out.
Well, this is how this all started, but Darshan's just ignoring everything.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell they made that call. They're like,
yep.
You know what? We're dying for this. Let's get that inhibitor.
Good play from Big, though. And then KFO able to follow up nicely. He did reap all the benefit as well. So as far as investments go, KFO with the double kill. Now getting quote-unquote free farm in the top lane. He will certainly be a beast if the game drags on, but...
Yeah, not so free when CLG are pressuring mid and bottom.
Yeah.
It's what you have to do when you have that downed inhibitor. It just means you have to keep up pressure. You cannot relax, so CLG going to try and make it count. You can see that first super minion double wave on the top lane is going to head into the base now. So that double stacked up super minion wave this early in the game will take a Nexus turret if left unattended by itself. All the CLG have to do is keep up their pressure. They do have the turret destruction of Tristana mid lane and Jax down bottom, so time in their favor. Jhin goes to answer the super minions and see if CLG can get anything else.
Maybe contemplating a dive here, although a little tricky to kill these two. CLG not done. Gonna keep pushing for a little while
Mid lane,
longer, but
dive.
Yep, there's Big. Gonna get stunned up by Braum. Passive Stixxay. Rocket jumps away. Good damage there from the explosive charge. Nails him the kill, and Tower should follow shortly after. Need to get it. Can't get out though.
Pretty fancy footwork actually, and they still have Kindred invulnerability if they want to try this. Oh, gonna have to juke these. He does juke too. Keith misses all four. Doesn't even fire off the last one actually.
Takes the cooldown.
Oh my goodness. CLG should claim that mid turret after that then.
Yep, they do. Bomb goes down. Now this turret getting assaulted as well. KFO trying to run interference on Darshan. Good leap strike out from under the W of Jhin. Does not get himself snared, but now diving in. HuHi ults himself. Froggen trying to do something here, but Stixxay's in. Straightening with the rocket jump, but Froggen going to maybe blow him up here. Buster shot almost enough. Stixxay's out of there. Flashes to safety. Keith does not land the snipe, and he gets away with it.
Heal from Keith there is able to save Froggen, and Grigne's going to try and answer, but CLG get out after that play. So they claim one outer turret. That's actually an okay hold from Fox. It could have gone worse. They did give up some kills, but it actually, yeah, could have gone worse. CLG actually looking to make it worse now as they teleport in, but Fox wisely do not stick around. And the gold lead kind of holds stable at around 3,000.
Inhib almost back up as well. So KFO going to clear this last super minion out, and we will kind of reset the situation. Baron also up because the Echo Fox took the Scuttle Crab, being like, they're pretty crazy, they might go for it. Wanted to make sure that doesn't happen. But pressure's still there. Darshan still farming away on that bottom side, creating plenty of space for CLG, which is all they really need right now.
Yeah, trying to keep up the pressure. Inhibitor's still down, so they're still trying to work on the secondary bottom, as well as keep up on mid. Secondary bottom has been taking a couple stray auto attacks. There's still a decent amount of work to be done though, about a third left on that turret.
And they're just trying to trade objectives here. Keep Echo Fox busy between mid and bottom lane. Stixxay sped up, does decent damage there as he pumps his Q. Rapid fires down the turret. But again, CLG just bouncing between these lanes, hoping someone makes a mistake. To Echo Fox's credit, a good defense so far. Although super minions, again, Keith has to go back to deal with those, so pressure not done just yet.
Yeah, they send Keith back once again to try and defend that Nexus turret and clean up these minions. That is going to be a good source of income, but it's going to cost them pressure.
KFO tagged, activate the Transcendent Blades, but there's the stuns in. Zyra ult is good, going to knock up 2. Make it 3 actually as Xmithie gets tagged.
That's going to be the turret at least though. CLG going to claim the bottom one, plus the mid one as well just went down, so 2 more. And CLG have cleaned up all outer turrets on the map, increasing the gold lead. And the exposed inhibitor being back up is actually just fine for CLG. That's just another point they can force a fight at if they want to continue with the 1-4 split push.
Yep, timing seems good. As Darshan finally goes back to spend some money. Vamp Scepter right now, waiting on nothing else. Actually just finishes the Cutlass, grabs the Warden. We'll head back out, maybe towards that Baron pit. Stixxay almost up to 2 items, and HuHi working on his second. Starting to hit some breakpoints here. Echo Fox have answered with at least 1 item now, building in towards their next few, but almost 5,000 gold behind. Blue buff here for Froggen. It's a good start to things, but as nice as that hold from the inhib was, they'll need to kind of weather the next few minutes as CLG look to make their next play. Ward down from Xmithie in the back of the Baron pit. Have to think that that's the most obvious place to go, particularly with the next Drake in 50 seconds being that Cloud Drake. CLG not going to rush to that one, maybe.
Yeah, no need for them to rush. They've got an exposed inhibitor to work with, full control of the map, decent-sized gold lead. And once again, it seems like we just keep telling the same story for this Echo Fox squad. They had such high hopes for this summer split. You know, as soon as they got, in spring split, they got KFO and Froggen in. They won a bunch of games at the tail end of the split. We're looking a lot stronger. They were like, you know what? We're going to be a summer split team. We're going to come out strong, try and get those playoffs. But it has not come together here in the summer split. And even Froggen himself kept saying they need to just do something in these games. Everything they've tried has failed. And that speaks to some in-game leadership maybe, as far as direction for shot calling once you get in here for the mid-game, but also coaching, sending the team in there with a game plan. It just seems like it goes off the rails so early for them in the game. Early game deficit from like 8 minutes for Echo Fox, and CLG just looking to close in. They keep the pressure up. Actually not even going to the exposed inhibitor, heading down bottom instead.
We've got new work to do, and it is on this bottom side inhib turret. Oh, good snare. HuHi actually forced to ult himself. Stun lands in. They don't want to do it just yet. They have to time it right. Last bullet. Oh, big. Flashes in, but they'll save him. Last shot goes straight from Jhin, and HuHi somehow lives through all that. CLG claim a Drake on the exit.
Yeah, they take a couple shots on the exit, but they got about 20% of the turret health. They get the Cloud Drake. It's not going to be the best Drake for ending out the game for them, but it will add extra 2 damage if we do get all the way to the late game. Elder Dragon. Basically, though, it's going to allow them to run back down to keep pressure on a little bit quicker. And maybe now they do actually go either towards the exposed inhibitor, or I would say set up some vision control around Baron. Because we talked about this Echo Fox team, there's no tank on it. It's very difficult to contest Baron if you have no tank line, nobody to soak up, nobody to face check anything. Anyone from Fox that gets close, if they get stunned up, Braum is great at chasing people down, as is Zilean for, AoE stunning people who come through the jungle corridors. CLG, if they just clean out the vision around Baron for a while here, they could force Echo Fox's hand and try and end the game that way, just baiting them out onto the map where they can try and clean up low health targets.
Yep, so many avenues of attack here for CLG. Echo Fox really just at the whim of whatever plan CLG decide, at least for the next 5 minutes, probably a few more. Darshan still working on that play of the wrong king. Didn't get there in the last game, but has the components now completed, really looking to solidify his position in that 1v1. Wants to make sure he beats KFO consistently, and KFO actually changing it up. Also has one. He's like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, it's the arms race between solo laners here. The only difference here, Darshan's slightly ahead in the arms race, plus he also has, again, the Rift Herald buff, Glimpse of the Void, like we talked about, last 20 minutes long. And he's also been having a member of CLG trail him at most stages in the game when he pushes up. It's usually been Xmithie. This time around, it's HuHi, though. And he might go for this sneaky Zilean play where he speeds himself up, allows Darshan to go for the dive.
The unseen Zilean is the deadliest. HuHi dash it in. Double bomb splashed out by KFO.
Surprise bomb! Almost gets him, but they do at least get the flash from KFO. Now they're pressuring the turret as well. Here's a collapse from Froggen, and they chase him off.
Yep, time to peace out. Darshan leap strikes away back to HuHi. And CLG will exit the area. CLG now going to take control of that Baron pit area. Damage on the KFO as he does get stunned. Eats the first bomb there from HuHi. First pass. Not successful there for CLG, but...
yeah, he got a flash again.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
And there's that vision work we talked about. They're putting down the pink wards, clearing out Echo Fox wards. And Echo Fox lose sight of the Baron pit and the river. Game gets so antsy right now. If you're on the Echo Fox team, you've been in that position, you have no vision on Baron, the other team is ahead. Scared if they're starting it, but you don't really have anyone who can face check.
Yep.
Grigne actually is the one who's elected. Does barely get out. couple of his spiderlings go down in the effort, but again, the two-man push down bottom for CLG.
They might get it on this push. Darshan has to be careful. Pretty low. It's going to get sped up. Oh, minions! Do the work. Caster Creep's MVP there for that one. CLG going to take a blue buff on the other end. Double TP really making this exceptionally difficult for Echo Fox. Froggen forced down there to try and push them out of that bottom lane, and Cleanse Karma's just not doing the work he needs to.
I actually really like the adaptation. Instead of 1-3-1, which has been classic basically
3-2
for the last year, yeah, 3-2 split push. CLG say, oh, they're always a split push team. They always do the same thing. Nah, they're reinventing it. You know, our double TPs will put them in the same lane here. It actually really works out because the extra speed from Zilean and the revival allows Darshan to play even more aggressively, and they force down the second inhibitor turret for themselves.
Yep. Coded in for 1v1 play in the last game, and from macro play, Darshan has had plenty of help all series long. CLG once again uniting to play the style they were known for so long. Makes sense given their early struggles in the split. I imagine this will change here and there, but like we always said, CLG play a certain way. They know how to play this style. They feel like they can pull it off. There's no reason not to do this while they sort of learn their way and kind of experience those growing pains, I guess, through this particular season, because there have been some pains here for CLG and their fans. But faith slowly but surely getting restored with every CS that Darshan collects.
Yeah, this series relieving a lot of that pain for them.
Fills up the faith bucket every CS.
Here comes the gank from Zilean down bottom while the three-man squad does Baron. Two-pronged approach from CLG. They actually get caught in both prongs.
Ooh, Grigne actually CC'd out, but the Baron goes over to CLG. Big! Getting aggressed on his KFO, and Darshan having a fight. HuHi lives though. Darshan takes that KFO, and now Grigne's straight in there. Big's going down already. Grigne gonna follow soon, and now Froggen chased in by Aphromoo. Fox, they did something, but it's gonna cost them. Froggen down.
Nobody gets got actually. CLG win the war on two fronts, and they absolutely demolish Fox. This is gonna be the ending as well. Baron buffed up. Split push here.
First flash out, that was absolutely unsafe. Darshan is gonna carry the minions in, start whacking down these turrets. It's very satisfying on Jax, and CLG. Two very clean games, gonna close this one out.
Quick series.
Yeah, very. For what started as very slow macro games, the Nexus will fall and CLG will collect a 2-0 victory.